The GOP field for next year's presidential election is beginning to take shape as two major Republicans have declared their intentions for 2012. Now we begin in Mississippi, where Governor Haley Barbour has announced that he will not seek the Republican nomination. Now that means his supporters and his endorsement are now up for grabs. And meanwhile, as you heard for the first time last night right here on this program, Texas Congressman Ron Paul is in. He made it official today in Iowa. Let's take a look.
Today, I'm announcing that I did file for an exploratory committee with the FEC to run for president on the Republican ticket. I believe there are literally millions of more people now concerned about the very things I talked about 4 years ago. It will be a much, much more significant campaign if it comes to a campaign announcement when that comes about.
And now many are waiting to see if billionaire Donald Trump will throw his hat in the race. He continues to make waves in the 2012 waters and is once again raising questions about President Obama's past. Let's take a look.
He went to Occidental. I heard he was a terrible student. Not like, okay, I heard he was a bad student. How does a bad student then go to Columbia and then go to Harvard? How does this happen? He's a bad student, gets into Columbia, top school, gets into Harvard, top school. He's a bad student. How does this happen?
What are you suggesting?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm certainly looking into it.
And joining me with analysis, Fox News contributor Andrea Tantaros and the host of Varney & Company on the Fox Business Network, Stuart Varney, back with us. Guys, good to see you.
Good to see you.
You know, the more and more I listen to Donald Trump, there's a great mystery around Obama. We don't have his grades. We don't have his thesis. We don't know how he got into these schools. As the Drudge Report pointed out today, even though I think he was born in the U.S., just release the stupid birth certificate, move on. Why are they playing it this way, the White House?
It's a great question. And if they wanted to quash the story, they would just release the documents, especially the transcripts. I mean, maybe Obama was a bad student. Well, he's not a dumb guy. We know that. He's not stupid. He's very bright. But just release the transcripts. He's making this worthy of primetime television because they're not releasing it. The man who calls himself the most transparent isn't, and he could stop this if he would just release it.
But the virtue of Donald Trump and what he adds to the equation is that he goes straight at it. The guy is not afraid to raise subjects which other people might dance around. You know exactly what the guy is saying. I think that this Donald Trump, he could affect the political process, even though he might stay outside the political process.
Look, I had him on radio today. We've had him on this program, and I will tell you that more and more I think he's actually getting in. And today I said, all right, well, let's deal with some of the substantive issues. He once was for universal health care. He once was for a one-time millionaire's tax. These are not conservative positions. Right. And his answer was, this is a very different time. Is that a good answer?
Yes, it is a good answer, and you should let him speak. Republicans should listen to what he has to say. Look, I think he's absolutely getting in, and I think he has a very good chance of winning New Hampshire.
You do?
I think Trump was doing Chris Christie before Chris Christie was doing Chris Christie. I mean, that kind of real talk, none of this political mumbo-jumbo, finger in the wind, we need a bold, robust, durable. Stop all that. Just give us the real story.
Right, but when you look at the Club for Growth, when you look at Thomas Sowell and other prominent conservatives, Mark Levin, another one, that have come out strongly against him, say that his shifting positions are for political expediency, his donations to Democrats. He has to get that base if he's going to win the nomination for the Republican Party. Look, can he capture the base in spite of the different positions he's taken?
No, I really don't think he can.
I don't think he can.
No, I think he's a complete outsider, making a great deal of noise and, to some degree, doing a great deal of good. Look at China. It emerged this week that China has reserves for $3 trillion. Those are dollars, and Trump comes right out with it and says, they got it from us. We want it back. We're going to put a 25% tax on anything from China that comes to America.
That's protectionism.
But yes, it is. And it's the law of unintended consequences. He would set off a trade war. But everybody knows exactly what he's saying and exactly where he's coming from. And that's the appeal.
And Sean, look at the rest of the conservative field. Conservatives have issues with all of them. Mitt Romney for Romney Care. Look at Mike Huckabee. He was criticized for not being fiscally conservative. They go after Tim Pawlenty on some issues in his home state. They have a beef with all of them. Gingrich for his past.
And Trump, to his credit, brought all that up today. And I think every candidate definitely has their pluses and minuses, and everyone's going to have to answer. All right, let me ask you this. I've got to ask an economic question, because let's start with the Standard & Poor's going from stable to negative. Then we got the IMF basically saying the age of America will end. Then we've got this guy, Bill Gross, giant bond investment company. He dumps all his treasuries. Then we've got the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. dollar's downward slide is accelerating as low interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. It's undermining our currency is their conclusion. Then we've got Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, is investing overseas because it's now the dollar fell to an 18-and-a-half-month low against the euro. We got China lecturing us on capitalism. The housing market is down. Food prices, oil prices are up. But what does this mean for Obama's reelection? My question.
Oh, I think the man's in serious trouble. If you have, by next year, you've still got $4 gas, you've got a plunging dollar, you've got America standing in the world still very much diminished, and you've got 8% or better unemployment, I don't think you can re-elect Barack Obama.
Agree with you. Agree completely.
Agree completely. But as his advisor told the New Yorker, he's leading from behind. He's comfortable in this crouch. They really believe that, leading from behind.
It's Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Carter.
Look, I'll even take it a step further. I think he is accelerating an American decline.
Yes.
And
if you take
in a serious way. And a world decline because America looks to the world.
You take a snapshot picture of America right now. We have become more of a handout nation, less a nation where work and pay are at the very center of our financial culture. We're declining in our stature in the world, and our currency is becoming not worthless, but it's coming way, way down. That's not a pretty picture for America going into an election year with Barack Obama wanting a second term. Tough road to hoe.
Good to see you, guys. Thank you very much. And coming up, Van Jones is back, and he is championing a cause that's more radical than ever before. We're going to tell you what that mantle that he's taken up is. Plus, the White House is up in arms over Franklin Graham's remarks about the president's religion. Franklin Graham is here himself, and he will respond. Coming up tonight on Hannity. An infamous figure from the Obama administration's early days is rearing his ugly head once again. Van Jones, the anointed one's former green job czar, has taken up a new cause as a board member of the Pachamama Alliance, a group that, according to its website, is, quote, committed to the universal adoption and implementation of legal systems that recognize, respect, and enforce rights of nature. That's right, Van Jones is on a mission to secure human rights for Mother Nature and to make sure that the law protects nature in just the same way it protects you and me. But he may be taking up this cause at a bad time. A new Gallup poll shows that just 42% of people around the world believe that global warming is a serious or somewhat serious threat, putting those believers in the distinct minority. So I'm guessing Americans are not going to be eager to extend the Bill of Rights to Mother Nature. And joining me now with reaction to all of this, the author of Power Grab, How Obama's Green Policies Will Steal Your Freedom and Bankrupt America, Chris Horner, and Betsy Rosenberg, host of The Green Front on the Progressive Radio Network. Thanks for being with us. Now, I understand, Betsy, you have, well, I don't know what Chris is. Chris is there. You look like you got a blue light on there. Betsy, we'll start with you. So you're a friend of Van Jones, an avowed communist, 9/11 truther. You're friends with him?
Oh, my goodness. I've interviewed him on my program several times. He's written a great book, The
And you
Green
have
Collar
respect for
Economy,
him.
a few years ago.
You have great.
Absolutely.
I read you have great respect for him.
I do.
Okay, so you have great
He's a
respect
bold
for a 9/11 truther
leader.
and an avowed communist. Are you a communist?
He was not part of that petition. That's been proven. And thanks to Glenn Beck, he's not in the White House, which is where he should be. We need a green job czar.
Okay, but a 9/11 truther you have no problem with.
That was disproven.
That was
Check your
not
facts.
that was not disproven, but because we have the tape
He
of it.
did not sign that petition.
All right,
He did not sign that petition,
An avowed
John.
communist, you don't have a problem with that either.
That's your term. I would never call him that, and
Those are his terms.
no one else I know who in respect would ever call him that.
All right, so
he's
now
a
let's
bold
go to
leader.
this
He's
idea.
all about creating green jobs and
Mother
believing
Nature
science.
should have rights. Explain why you think Mother Nature should have rights.
I think that we are part of Mother Nature. If you don't think so, try going one day without your environment, meaning clean air, clean water, clean food.
You're right. I want to poison the air, water, and kill people.
To separate ourselves from our environment is foolish. Don't be fossil foolish. We need to accept reality, and what is happening right now tonight, this very evening, there are severe weather conditions in Arkansas and Alabama. 5,600 severe weather events in April alone in this country have been
Global
reported.
warming, right?
Mother Nature is screaming at us to pay attention to climate change. Why are you denying it?
All right, Chris with the blue face. I've never seen this. I don't know what's going on, but I'll let you
I just got out of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I think that's great. I'm going to sue Mother Nature for the severe weather tonight, since now we can put her on a par with people. Look, this earther movement has always been probably the craziest of the many crazy ants that constitute the Democrat base they try to keep in the attic, talk about every now and then, isn't she dear? But don't let the people get too close a look, or heaven forbid engage it in conversation, because they'll find out what they're really all about. And this is what they're all about. They want roadkill to form a, I suppose, get certified as a class to sue all automakers worldwide. But, you know, this weekend, just playing golf and working in the yard, I got sunburn, poison ivy, and mosquito bites. So I'm going to clean up, which is exactly what they're calling for. Nature and humans on a par in the legal system. Yeah. I have to say that the more this earther movement talks, the more the American public can now move on from just screaming about the children and their greatest threat after greatest threat facing mankind,
let me ask Betsy
and talk about the agenda and the people. And who are these people?
Betsy, do
you know how many children died in these record storms over the weekend while you were getting
suntanned? You're changing the subject, and I would, because it's very embarrassing. I'd change the subject too. It's embarrassing.
Betsy, do you think that animals should have rights and attorneys, the right to an attorney?
I believe that everyone who lives on this planet should have the right to a clean environment, and let's look at future generations, our children and grandchildren.
I understand that. I asked you specific. Do you think animals like Cass Sunstein, animals should have the right to an attorney?
I'm not going to answer that. I am going to point to the fact. I am going to point to the fact that I want to
let me ask another question. We're here about the environment. Do you think trees? Do you think trees should have the right to an attorney?
And Governor Rick Perry, who does not believe in climate change, on Earth Day asked President Obama for emergency funding. He doesn't believe in climate change, and yet half of his state was on fire after a record drought.
If it's cold, it's global warming. If it's warm, it's global warming. If it snows, it's global warming. I'm asking you a question. Should trees have the right to attorneys?
You're mocking something that is very serious.
I'm asking you a serious question. Answer it. Should trees have the right to an attorney?
I think Mother Nature deserves protection, and I think if we were taking better care of her, we wouldn't need laws.
Like, for example, if we drill in Anwar, should Anwar, the land, be allowed to have an attorney to sue?
We may need to take drastic measures. Drastic circumstances call for drastic measures. If that's what it takes,
but not crazy measures. Look, do you know how this would work out, Betsy? Do you have any idea how this would work out if you allow not just the cheetah to sue us, but the cheetah to sue the gazelle it's chasing, or vice versa? You're talking about assigning human legal rights to animals. Do you know who the first and only targets of this would be? The wealthy countries. Those countries who are the countries adding layer upon layer of environmental law because they're wealthy, which is viewed as something, this development, that reduces infant mortality, drudgery, and disease.
There is no wealth without
viewed as
planetary health.
That has to
and planetary health is connected to personal health.
And you're trying to redistribute it, and you will guarantee global poverty. And do you know it's poor countries that trash the joint, not rich countries? Why are you promoting theories like this, other than to let us all know who you really are?
There's a column called Confessions of a Climate Change Convert, a conservative, one of your fellow conservatives, who read a book called Disconnect. His name is D.R. Tucker.
Who?
D.R. Tucker. He's a convert. D.R. Tucker. It's in From Forum, F-R-U-M-F-O-R-U-M. Check it out. After reading Disconnect, he decided to go back and read the IPCC report from 2007. He is a convert. Check it out. Use your intelligence, guys. Don't be deniasaurs.
I know.
Don't be fossil fools.
Should the dinosaurs have retroactive?
For the record,
conservatives want healthy water, clean air.
Conservatives
but
want
we do
to
not
conserve.
believe animals and trees should have lawyers.
There's no animals on a dead planet, and there's no humans on a dead planet, and there's no strong economy on a dying planet.
Sues the gazelle, as Chris said, that's going to be a really interesting lawsuit.
Talking points fail in trial. I guess we should move forward.
Let not your heart be troubled.
Chris, it looks like you were in that space.
Is next.